Good evening. Welcome to Brandon's Outdoor. Today I'm going to do 80s and 90s USGI field gear and basically a rifleman loadout. And then I'm going to go over just a few little extra odds and ends. So here we go. First up, have the 1960s, 70s sea bag. Now this was the main pack used on deployments. On top of the rucksacks, this would hold most of your personal gear, most of your towels, clothes, etc. Now this was made out of duck cotton canvas. It has one handle, and it has the closing handle, which also doubles as a shoulder strap. This was then phased out and replaced in the 80s with this nylon sea bag. Difference between this, obviously it's made out of nylon, has a carry handle like the original one, but it has a front pocket where you can put small things like photo ID, wallet, whatever, dog tags, and it has two carry shoulder straps on it, so it could be easily carried and worn. And it still have the ability to carry other things as opposed to just a single strap slung on your one shoulder. Now this is just as comfortable, don't get me wrong, but you can, in my opinion, you can carry bigger loads and heavier loads for a little bit longer periods of time if need be with this one. And it being nylon, it dries a lot quicker. Next up, we have Flyers kit bag. It's another large size bag like the sea bag that held a lot of personal gear, a lot of other gear, weapons, mission essential gear. This one's actually made in 1972. Still in great shape, still very sturdy and durable for the age. It's over 50 years old now. Well, 50 years old. You'd see these a lot on the Desert Storm dune buggies. You'd see these actually strapped to the sides of these, or on vehicles, or on transportation route, you know. Basically wherever they was moving somewhere for an extended time, you would usually see one of these strapped to the side. And then you got your standard pull string USGI laundry bag. Nothing special about it, just for your dirty skivvies, stuff like that. Next up, we have a medium rucksack, medium Alice. This is the woodland version. Would have been issued in the early to mid 80s and until the early 2000s. This one's been modified a little bit. I'll get into that in other videos if we get to that point. Yeah, your metal frame on the back, or you can wear it without the frame and just attach the shoulder straps to the pack. Normally what would be carried would be one of these thermo pads, but this is a newer version. This is the older version would be OD green and be a roll-up pad instead of this folding one. And then on the bottom there would be a sleep carrier system, sleep pack, or whatever that would be carried on the bottom of it. There's a lot of there's a lot of room to put extra stuff, like the e-tool carrier would be here. This would normally be a hard shell OD green carrier, but I don't have that no more. This is the newer canvas one, which is kind of weird because before the hard shell one was actually the Alice soft case like this as well for a folding e-tool. Before that, you had your your M56 e-tool with the handle and everything on it. There's plenty of room in one of these packs. I definitely would recommend this pack for a low budget pack. Well, it's not really so low budget anymore. You're going to pay over $100 for that little pack nowadays. When I was a kid, you used to be able to get them for $10-15 a piece. It wasn't that long ago. A lot of this gear is getting expensive now. Everybody's just buying it up. So as far as this stuff all being super cheap, some of its stuff is, some of it isn't. So okay, well, we're done with the bags for now. We'll get into the BDUs and clothing. First of all, there was a desert camouflage that was mainly worn. It was the 6-color chocolate chip desert camouflage. I don't have any of that stuff, but that was most commonly worn during the Desert Storm, the first Gulf War. There was also a night desert camo pattern that was used, Trick Generation 1 night vision, the blending in with your surroundings. I do have one of those. This would be the smock. It's very long. It actually goes down to your legs and actually ties around your legs. There's no pockets in it, and I'll show you why in a minute. It's very, personal opinion, I actually still like this camo. It's really cool looking, for one. Two, it blends in pretty good with the Pennsylvania environment. So it's still a good hunting camo, but as far as steel folding, night vision, this is as good as worthless now for that type of stuff. There was pants, boonies, there was other gear issued in this, but a lot of this gear I have and I'm showing you was my father's when he was in the Gulf War, and he just simply didn't get issued the pants. Next up we have the M81 Woodland BDU top. Now this is a newer proper version. So the older one would have been made out of ripstop. And what this is the pattern, this is the pattern of Woodland that was out after the EDRL version, which was actually still kind of commonly used in the early 80s and late 80s, especially in the Marine Corps, because they're late to get issued gear. The Army gets all the new stuff first, usually. And then you would have the Green Berets, or you would have your Marine Special Forces and stuff like that, who were issued your Vietnam era ripstop jungle tiger stripes during like the Panama invasion and different other things, other places. It's just how the special operators roll. There's a reason for it, but I'm not sure if I can really say why certain uniforms are used, so we'll just keep it at that. And then here's the top, tiger stripe tops. This wouldn't have been commonly issued, but this type of tiger stripe was issued during this time still. So, this personally is my favorite camouflage. even over the new multicam and the digital camouflage. I did like the digital camouflage a lot when it came out, just because it was new and it was cool, but now that I have a pick of a lot of different camos nowadays, I prefer tiger stripes. Sticking to wearable gear, do the PSA GT helmet. PSAG helmets, I mean. This is actually a ballistic helmet. There's a lightweight helmet, and there's a heavier version. This is the heavier version. This weighs 3.6 pounds. It is ballistic. It will stop small caliber rounds. I have mine upgraded with a 4-point strap, but it was actually originally came with this, I wanted to say an airborne chin strap is what they would call it, because it detaches and it has the double chin right here. And I mean, I've heard people call it this, but I mean, I would just call it it's just an old chin strap that would go on. I mean, then there would be either scrim worn, or like this one, there would be camo netting put on it just to break up the pattern. But most commonly, you would have a woodland helmet cover or a 6-color chocolate chip cover. So that would be typically what would be on there, and then there would be a pair of goggles for mostly for when getting on and off airplanes, helicopters, I mean, and all the wash getting in your eyes. That's mainly what the goggles were for. Next, we have the fragmentation vest. This is the newer version. I want to say the 1983 or something. I can't remember precisely what the date was on this and when these ones started coming out. But this one actually is bullet resistant on top of fragmentation. This is rated to stop 9mm. It can stop 45, but you're taking like a 60-40 chance there. 60% it will, but it's a pretty big chance to take. So it's rated really for fragmentation and 9mm at best. Now I'm going to throw this on. Now this actually had a cover for it. The 6-color chocolate chip desert. It actually had a sleeve that went over the vest and sat on this vest nice and covered it. This was like the first somewhat modular vest where you could change the camo pattern. It has a couple webbing straps up here so you can throw either grenades off of it or put a couple Alice pouches on it. The pockets are big enough to throw some mags in it or a couple grenades in it. Now for this, the reason why stuff like this didn't have pockets was because it was meant to be worn over top of the fragmentation vest. You see there's no pockets. I can put my hand right through it. And that is because it is made for this vest, for the pocket to go through here and you to be able to reach it to your vest pocket. So that's what this was actually made for, to access your vest. So the only pockets you have are what's on your vest. You would also have a woodland boonie, a chocolate chip boonie, a chocolate chip field cover or a woodland field cover. And then you would have your Panama sole jungle boot. This is the 80s version. Has a steel shank in the foot. The treads are a lot different than the Vietnam versions. A lot better treads on them. These didn't always have a steel shank in them, obviously, after Vietnam with all the punji stakes going through boots and things like that. So they eventually put a steel shank in these. For a low budget boot, these are about as best as you're going to get. I mean, they did the job all these years. They're fairly comfortable once they're broken in. They're very durable. These ones specifically been worn a lot, and these are from 1982. So, being that old, and they're still almost in brand new shape. As long as you keep them clean and as long as you take care of everything, it'll last you. Don't matter what it is. So when you stop using it and store it the wrong way, or if you don't take care of it, is when things don't last. Next up, we have your M17 gas mask carrier. That could be carried around the waist or around the hip on a shoulder strap. This has 2 pouches on it, one for decontamination kit, and then one for spare lenses. One in case one was cracked and you didn't get gas in it, and the other one was a colored lens for like UV or atomic bomb explosions, stuff like that. This would typically be on the mask or in your mop bag, but if you're in a situation where they had their mop gear on them, this would already be on the mask. This is the rubber mask that goes over top of the M17 gas mask. This would go on top of it, zip up, go on, these go under your shoulders, lock into place, zip it down, close it up, and then your mop gear would go over it. The mop gear would typically be either on your Alice pack, or the butt pack would go, or it would be on the Alice pack on the bottom where the sleeping gear is, or if it would be on your persons where your butt pack would normally go. This is the M17 gas mask with a drinking straw tube, internal filters, easy on off. These are from the 80s up to the 90s. And then here's spare filters. Actually, this is what the filters look like. They're just tiny little filters. They go inside the mask. You know, they sit in there, boom. You can get these online, actually. Brand new old stock. Brand new in the package, unopened still. These ones are from 1980 of January. So, I think I paid like $12 on these from either Maine Military Supply or Allegheny Army Surplus. I mean, if you have one of these masks, I would recommend extra filters, because these filters are actually in real use are only rated for 24 hours. Next, you got your 2-quart canteen, universal shoulder strap. You could also on the back, you could put Alice clips, so you could clip it on your belt, on your Alice pack, whatever. Because the Alice pack is highly modular for as old as it is. I mean, you can do all kinds of different things with it. Next, you got your lensetic compass. That would be carried either in the little first aid pouch or in the pocket around the neck. Then you got your 4 magazine bandolier. Now this, you could buy these, you could buy the repackaging kits for like $12 off of the military surplus, and it actually comes to this size, and there's a string. You would pull it out, and it opens it up to where you could fit actual full size 30 round mags in here, so you could fit 4 fully loaded 30 round mags inside of this. These were typically just in ammo boxes and handed out. I don't know how common it was for them to carry these around at that point by then. I know in Vietnam and stuff, these were carried around a lot around the chest and everything, but these might have just been more of a supply thing and just kind of thrown away once their stuff was loaded. Got a pistol belt. This would be the 1956 cotton version with the metal clasp with a Marine Corps K-bar fighting knife. This would have been one of the weapons carried by the Marines, Navy, the Army might even have their own K-bar, I don't know, but usually this would have been carried during the 80s and 90s. An M56 model ammo pouch is held at 2 M14 magazines or 4 M2 carbine 30 round mags or 4 20 round M16 mags with a bandage at the bottom to keep them up high enough, because if this pouch itself is too deep for 20 round mags, so you'd be digging down in there for them, and it's too small for 30 round mags, so they just stick out too far. So this was basically the old 50s universal ammo pouch. I just kind of kept it here in lieu of the medic pouch that would have went inside of this, that would have went over top of this medic insert. I just have it on something else and I'm not digging it off, so this would actually pretend this is the med kit. I mean, this is the med kit, but pretend this is the case. Next up, we have the actual LC2 Y-strap harness and LC2 belt. I got two 30 round mags, two 30 round, 3 round pouches for a total of 6 magazines, a nylon butt pack, 2-quart canteen with a canteen cup and stove. This would be the Binucci M12 holster. It fits a Beretta or a 1911 45. This would be your, and then you got your M7 bayonet with a rifle lug so it can attach to a rifle. This right here would be your typical rifleman loadout. And like I said, pretend this was the medic pouch. This would have went here or on the butt pack. So this would be typical rifleman loadout right here. And on that, you would have your moonbeam or the angle flashlight. This one's an upgraded LED version. This is the old C battery version. You do SOS with them. It has a push button on the side where you can switch it or you can turn it on to where it just stays on. It has different colored lenses inside of it. Open up the bottom. This one has 2 red ones because red I use the most. But this one, it has blue, white, red, yellow. Or maybe it was green. I don't know. I might be getting colorblind. Okay, it was green, blue, yellow, and red. There should be a white one in there or like a foggy strobe one. There's like, that would be in the older ones. This, like I said, this is a newer version, so this has colors in it that normally wouldn't have been in this older version. Now with this Alice belt, on top of this, here's the little med pouch also on the shoulder. The fit. Now if you wore your flak vest, this would never fit around it. They were either tied or people would wear extra large belts to actually fit them. But they were issued these extension belts that would actually be put onto these belts. So then once you put your flak vest on, it would actually fit around the flak vest when you put it on. Because otherwise, without that extension, you're not buckling that belt up. Now mostly the Army was issued that. The Marines in small numbers were issued it. My dad, for instance, was not issued one. But as you can see, now I got my belt on, I got my flak vest on, it all fits nice snug the way it should. If I took this extension belt off, no matter how much I loosened it, I got that much of a gap between it. It ain't getting any closer. I would have to deform this all up and push it all in, and it's very uncomfortable to wear it like that. So they would either wear it just hanging, tied up, because like I said, very few were actually issued these. This was more of an Army issue item. The extension belt. Now they do also all have the extension belts for the newer 2000 pistol belts, the Alice belts with the button, with the buckle instead of these plastic clasps. So that would be their standard kit on top of their M16 rifle, A1 rifle, A2 rifle. So like I said, we're talking 80s and 90s. Also got a GI machete with a 1910 clasp on it, so it actually lock into these little housings on here. The Alice pack has these, and all these older pistol belts have these 1910 makers on them, so you can attach everything, keepers. And then there you go, that would attach just like that, attach your belt, whatever. And then on the e-tool carrier, like I said, that would either be on the pack or your belt. And that would typically be a hard shell green cover, which was replaced with a canvas one, which was originally nylon from the begin with, but after the model 1956 version that held the bayonet and everything. Now there is a Vietnam version that also it was nylon, and it looked like that canvas one I showed you, the Marine issue one. They actually had one that held this fold-up one. It was a closed nylon pouch, and it actually had a bayonet adapter on it, so you can still put your bayonet on it and have it hanging. You know, so it would go on and hang like that off of your e-tool carrier. And that one was actually invented for Marine Corps snipers in Vietnam. That's specifically why that e-tool carrier was made. That would go with the M67 field gear, with the M67 field pack, which is extremely rare, $1,000 minimum if you find a real one. And then all the M67 butt pack, ammo pouches, all that. The M67 pouches are the most expensive pouches out of all of the Alice gear you will find. And lastly, we have a folding e-tool carrier. Well, I won't say lastly, but as far as big gear goes, you have the folding e-tool carrier, folds. You know, the newer ones, they fold down like that and stay like that. The Gerber ones, or they go open. Because the newer ones are basically made for getting in and pulling and raking that dirt back. This one, it's a 90-degree open or open. So it's the same principle, except you don't have that nice. With this, you gotta pull it back. The newer one, it's got a nice to where you can jig it back nice and easy. But the downfall with that one is, with this, you can actually lock it like this and use it as a seat and sit on it. The newer ones, with them only locking like that, it's no longer a good seat. So this one's, you know, on top of fighting people and digging with this, this also makes a third item, it's a seat. And you know, the newer ones just can't match the older one with that quality. Next we have a field mess kit. This is the bulkier one. This is a cold weather one. You got bowl one, can one. You got an aluminum drinking cup. You got your handle. Then you got 2 plates inside. And then you got another pot. So you got 2 boiling pots. You got 2 plates or 2 skillets, however you want to use it. This is the 1980s, 1990s cold weather mess kit. Because typically, Marines and Army servicemen of the 80s and 90s, even now, ate out of these MREs. They already come with heaters in them. You just pour a little bit of water in, you know, let it do its thing. I prefer these over the mountain houses. The mountain houses are nice, they're light, they're good for long range stuff. but they upset my stomach if I eat too much of them too fast. They take forever to cook. You know, these are quick, ready to go, and I mean, if you live off these, you're probably going to hate them. But me personally, I still think these taste great, and especially now with today's menus, their food tastes really good. I mean, I can't say so much for 30, 40 years ago. They tasted a little more bland back then. I know that because I've eaten a couple of them. But these actually are already pre-seasoned, and you know, they're a lot better tasting than they used to be. So you got to give these a little bit of credit now. But that's that. Typically there would be a poncho woodland and a woodland poncho liner. It wouldn't be tiger stripe. I don't have either one of those. I mean, that would typically be what they would carry as far as gear wise. Your basic rifleman. I mean, there is a few extras in here just to show you, but minus the rifle and some of your typical field gear like socks and camo sticks and junk like that. I mean, this would be their basic loadout and what they would have and carry. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making this type of stuff. I would like to do more types of videos about more different eras. Get into more detailed about other items and the history of certain things. I enjoy this stuff greatly. I know a lot about it. I spent most of my life learning military history and military gear and the anatomy of it, the reasons behind it. I put a lot of work into this to learn it. It's just my hobby. It's what I love to do. I hope everyone enjoys it and everybody gets something out of it and learns something. And you know, if you end up wanting to build a loadout of your own for paintballing for fun, ask questions. I could show you minimum setups. I could show you all kinds of different setups, but we can go over things as in future episodes. But as of now, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.